Chapter 1. Preparation. The number one mistake that new writers make when participating in NaNoWriMo is waiting for November 1st to do anything. The problem with this is that you will spend your first 2 or 3 days just nailing down what you are going to write, losing ground on the actual writing of your novel. You can avoid this by laying it all out and doing some preparation beforehand. The actual writing of the novel is what must happen within that 30 days. There is nothing against the rules in preparing yourself for the journey. When to start? You will want to start preparation for NaNoWriMo 3 to 5 days before the 1st of November. This doesn't seem like much time, but it is ample opportunity to get everything lined out to be able to start writing on the 1st. If you don't have a lot of free time, you might want to extend your preparation by a few days. During this time, you are going to be figuring out exactly what your story is going to be about, the main characters in that story, where the story will take place, and other large details about your novel. You will also want to choose your medium and have it in place. Finally, you will create a solid plan for how you will get 50,000 words written in just 30 days. Pre-writing. Pre-writing is of the utmost importance and should be part of your overall preparation. If you have no idea what you want to write about, do some basic brainstorming. Just bust out a pen and paper or your word processor and start writing whatever comes to mind. Look at writing prompts online. Think about stories you've always wanted to read but never found. You can also think about new twists on old ideas. Once you have a general idea of what you want to write about, continue brainstorming to get the basics of your plot and characters. You don't need to know everything about your characters, since a lot of this will come out as you begin to write. However, having some names picked out for your main characters, a general idea of their personalities, and how they look in appearance can help save you time when you start writing. You will also want to do some brainstorming about where the story will be taking place. It doesn't have to be specific, with details about the environs. You just need a basic idea. All of the details will come out as you write. I do not suggest writing a detailed outline of your novel, or even a basic outline. This is usually counterproductive. Once you start writing, you will likely wind up straying from the outline, which can lead to a feeling of frustration and cause you to rethink the whole idea. This is the last thing you want to do, because it will lead to stagnation, and you'll never reach your goal. Outlines for fiction novels are just setting yourself up for failure and take valuable time and effort that is better spent elsewhere. Research. If you are writing a story that will require any type of research, try to do it ahead of time. For example, if you are writing a murder mystery and want it to be technically accurate, you will want to spend a day or two reading up on criminal justice and evidence collection practices. Reading a few resources online about how a murder investigation works will help prepare you for writing your novel. For a novel such as this, you may find yourself doing research throughout your writing days. However, getting a broad spectrum of ideas and research done in advance will help your story become more believable and saves you time when you should be actually writing. Choose your medium. Decide in advance what medium you will use to write your novel. It is suggested that you use technology rather than pen and paper to write, because you will have to type it out at the end anyway. If you want to submit your novel on the Camp NaNoWriMo site, you'll need to have it typed out by November 30th, which cuts down on your writing time if you write by hand. That said, there is more than one way to skin a cat. There are a lot of apps out there that you can use on your computer that will help you write your novel. Many of these apps are either free or have a 30-day free trial. Since you're writing your novel in 30 days, the trial apps are just as effective for your purposes. YWriter. One of the newer apps that writers are using a lot is called YWriter. It is designed to help you write by scene rather than by seeing the whole novel as a whole. It also allows you to drag and drop scenes in case you write them out of order or decide to change things chronologically. Once complete, you can export the whole novel in manuscript format to your word processor. YWriter is preferred by many novelists because it promotes writing by scene. All successful novelists agree that writing by scene is far preferable to writing a novel as a whole. When you write by scene, you can become more focused on detail and how you are moving the plot forward. This, quite simply, leads to better novels. Scrivener. Another app that a lot of writers use is Scrivener. Scrivener requires sign-up but has a 30-day free trial, which includes all of the features. This app is more streamlined than YWriter, but does not allow for the drag and drop of scenes. It does, however, make it very easy to bounce from chapter to chapter in case you want to go back and change anything, or you get an idea to write ahead. Again, you can export your finished book into manuscript format. You can move chapters around in Scrivener, but not scenes individually. Scrivener also has a notepad type option that will allow you to make notes about future scenes or chapters so that you don't lose ideas while you write. It has a lot of other features as well, most of which involve preparing a manuscript for a publisher. Word processors. Of course, you can always use a word processor as well. Microsoft Word is the most commonly used, but there are also free apps that you can use as well. WordPad for Windows is free. It will not allow for formatting, so it will not produce a finished manuscript, but for the purposes of the writing itself, it does suffice in a pinch. There is also OpenOffice, which is completely free and will produce a document with a Word extension for easy sharing. If you have a Mac, you will need different options, which you will want to research well before November 1st. If you have a built-in word processor on your computer or laptop, you should be able to use it for this project with no problems. If you choose to use a word processor, make sure you format your document appropriately in the beginning to help prevent time and effort later when the novel is finished. It is much easier to format from the start than to go back and fix it later. Manuscript format is generally accepted to be 1-inch margins all around, double-spaced, with the first sentence of each paragraph indented. Setting a schedule. Setting a writing schedule is the hardest part of preparation for NaNoWriMo, but it is vitally important to your success in this endeavor. You will need to set aside a specific amount of time to write each day, and you will need to set a daily word count goal. Start by figuring out how much time you can allot each day for writing your novel. What fits into your schedule? If you work full-time, you will need to arrange for time to write during your non-working hours. If you have children, you might want to set aside writing time for while they are napping or after they go to bed at night. Your writing time should be distraction-free and completely free of other obligations. You may want to plan on avoiding social engagements during November for the most part so that you are able to get all of your writing time in. Once you have determined when you can write, figure out how many words you would have to write per day to meet the 50,000 word goal by the end of the month. If you wrote the same amount every day, you would have to write roughly 1,667 words per day. This is a very manageable goal for most people. If you have more time on some days than others, you might want to adjust those numbers. You might, for instance, have a goal of 2,500 words on your day off from work and lower the word count needed on days that you do work or have other obligations. If you have prior social engagements that you know you will not be able to write for a day, figure that into your calculations as well. For example, most people are not going to write on Thanksgiving or Black Friday. If you are going to take those 2 days off, then you will have to write more on other days to make up for it. The best way to create your schedule is to first decide which days you will write, then decide how many words each day you are able to write. If when you add them all up it adds to less than 50,000 words, you'll have to rework your plan until you can reach the goal. Using a calendar to create your plan is the easiest way to do this. Print off a blank November calendar, which you can easily find online. Use pencil to make your plan so that you can easily erase and recalculate as you figure out the best plan of action. Write how many words you will write on each day on the calendar. Once it is complete, post the calendar near your work area so that you can cross off each day and have your goals in front of you throughout the process. If you're not sure how long it takes you to write 1,000 words, there is an easy solution. Go to a free typing test website such as typingtest.com and take their test. It usually only takes a minute and you will discover how fast you type. If you write at the rate you type, you can use this number to determine how many words you can write in a specified period of time. Another similar method is to go to the typing test and type a short story instead of the text that appears on the screen. You will still get a words per minute on which to base your writing time, but it will be more accurate. Many people type faster or slower when typing their own words rather than words on a screen. The most important thing about creating your writing schedule is to keep it manageable and realistic. If you know that you don't feel like doing much when you get home from work, don't set a goal of 2,500 words for that night. Make sure that the plan you make is one that you can easily stick to. Some days you might not feel like writing and have a hard time getting started for the day, but if your schedule is manageable, you will be able to overcome those obstacles.